I don't even want to take, too much credit for being, brave. I think that it's just a responsibility of ours as artists to give our truth at that time. And it's just simple as that. Soldiers are brave. It's their responsibility to go and, fight for their countries. Police officers are brave. It's, firefighters, it's their responsibility to go into a fire. And for us as an artist, it's our responsibility to give our truth. The way you think about like a bracelet, you take like a small ring and make it like an oversized bracelet, or flip a jacket inside out, or cut all the edges really raw. And that rawness is, that's what people are looking for, that reality, that life. It's like you want good and bad, you want salt and pepper, you want hot and sweet. And he was able to capture all that and then sometimes just give you. I think he had to send me through some more experiences to be able to cast a wider net when he was ready to use me. Like mental health, having a nervous breakdown, going to the hospital and having the stigma of being called crazy, actually it didn't make my it made me more relatable. Well, it's funny, in this world that we live in, there's two main motivating forces, and I tweet about it all the time. It's love or fear. And you can't explain love.
I love the temples. I love how people are with you. They're just really respectful.
Yeah.
And my wife said that in past lives I was a king, I was an emperor out here.
I see you doing a lot out here. How do you prioritize your passions?
I just put my kids first, all the ideas, and then I get real selfish. Then I go to me, and then I think about the impact it's gonna have on, this lifetime.
Hey guys, let me tell you about the most calculated divorce strategy I've ever seen. Bianca Censori just pulled off something so brilliant. It's making Kim Kardashian's legal team look amateur. Fresh sources reveal that while everyone was focused on those controversial outfits and public appearances, Bianca was quietly building a case that could net her $200 million of Kanye's fortune. This wasn't just luck. It was pure strategic genius. Think about it. All those times we thought Kanye was controlling her, turns out she was documenting every single incident, every demand, every public humiliation. The Grammy's appearance where she was practically naked, all part of a bigger plan to prove his controlling conduct. But here's what's really fascinating. While Kanye thought he was showcasing his creative vision through Bianca, she was actually gathering evidence that would later prove how he tried to control and manipulate her image. Every sheer outfit, every bizarre ensemble, it's all going into her legal file. The power of attorney documents that just surfaced expose exactly how Bianca outplayed Kanye at his own game. While he was busy ranting on social media, she was quietly getting her name added to crucial business documents. Sources close to their legal team say Kanye made a rookie mistake. He signed multiple business agreements during what his team calls manic episodes. Now those signatures are coming back to haunt him. We're talking about contracts that give Bianca significant control over parts of his empire. What's really wild is how she used her architectural background as cover. Everyone thought she was just designing Yeezy spaces, but she was actually positioning herself within his business structure. Those mysterious meetings in Japan, they weren't about fashion. They were about securing her position in his Asian market ventures. Even Kim's legal team is impressed with how Bianca handled this. Sources say they're studying her strategy for future reference. The way she documented everything while maintaining a perfect public image, that's next level planning. Breaking down the timeline of Bianca's strategy reveals something nobody saw coming. Remember those weird public appearances where she looked uncomfortable? She wasn't just being controlled, she was building a paper trail of Kanye's demanding conduct. Every time he made her wear those revealing outfits, she had someone from her team documenting it. Security footage, witness statements, even receipts from the designers who were instructed to make these controversial pieces, it's all part of her evidence file. Sources say she even hired body language experts to analyze their public appearances. Those moments where she looked distressed, they're now being used to support her claims about psychological control. Even the paparazzi photos that everyone laughed at are becoming evidence. The genius part? While Kanye thought he was creating viral moments, Bianca was creating exhibits for her divorce case. Every public humiliation, every controlling moment, every bizarre demand, she kept receipts for all of it. The financial aspects of this divorce are where things get really interesting. While everyone thought Bianca was just playing dress up, she was actually mapping out Kanye's entire business empire. Those late-night office visits. She wasn't just working, she was gathering intel. Industry experts say she managed to get her signature on documents that even Kanye's lawyers didn't fully review. We're talking about joint ventures, property deeds, and international business agreements. The way she positioned herself within his company structure, pure genius. The business documents she quietly signed will shake Kanye's empire to its core. What's really fascinating is how she used her professional background to her advantage. As an architect, she had legitimate reasons to be involved in various aspects of his business. Every project she worked on, every design she approved, every contract she reviewed, it all gave her more access and control. Even Kim Kardashian's reaching out to learn from Bianca's playbook. Sources say Kim's legal team is studying how Bianca managed to secure such a strong position in such a short time. The way Bianca handled the Grammy incident shows exactly how strategic she's been. When Kanye insisted she wear that nearly naked outfit, she didn't just comply. She made sure every interaction was documented. From the initial demand to the aftermath, everything was recorded. Multiple sources confirmed she had her team collecting evidence from every angle. The stylists who were present, the security team who witnessed their interactions, even the event staff who saw how Kanye controlled her movements. They're all potential witnesses now. The backstage footage from the Grammys exposes a level of manipulation nobody saw coming. But here's what's really clever. While everyone was focused on her outfit, Bianca was actually setting up one of the strongest pieces of evidence for her case. Those photos of her trying to cover herself, the videos of Kanye directing her poses, they're all becoming part of a larger narrative about control and public humiliation. Even industry veterans are amazed at how she turned what seemed like a low point into a powerful legal advantage. The way she's flipped the script on Kanye's controlling tendencies, it's masterclass in strategic thinking. Let's talk about those mysterious business meetings in Tokyo that everyone thought were about fashion. Fresh sources reveal Bianca wasn't just there for Yeezy. She was actually meeting with international lawyers who specialize in high-profile divorces. While Kanye was focused on his creative vision, Bianca was quietly building relationships with some of Asia's top business lawyers. These weren't just casual consultations. She was laying groundwork for controlling interests in his Asian market ventures. The really brilliant part? She used her architectural expertise as the perfect cover. Every building she was supposedly designing, every space she was planning, it all gave her legitimate reasons to be involved in the business side of things. Sources say she even managed to get herself listed as a key decision maker on several international projects. Those documents she was signing as the lead architect, they actually gave her significant control over major business operations. Even Kanye's longtime business partners are impressed with how thoroughly she understood his empire's structure. While he was treating her like a muse, she was actually becoming an integral part of his business framework. The social media strategy Bianca employed throughout this whole situation deserves its own chapter. While everyone thought she was being silenced, she was actually creating a digital trail of Kanye's controlling conduct. Those Instagram posts where she looked uncomfortable, each one was timestamped and archived by her legal team. The comments from concerned fans, all documented as public reaction to his treatment of her. Even the memes making fun of her outfits are becoming evidence of public humiliation. The secret social media archive she's built will make everyone rethink everything they've posted. But here's what's really clever. She never once complained publicly. Instead, she let Kanye's own social media rants do the talking. Every time he posted about controlling her image or making decisions for her team was archiving it as evidence of his domineering tendencies. Even those fan accounts that tracked their every move, they unknowingly became part of her documentation strategy. Their timeline of events is now helping her legal team establish patterns of controlling behavior. The real estate angle of this divorce is where Bianca really showed her genius as an architect. She had legitimate reasons to be involved in every property decision. But she wasn't just designing spaces, she was securing her position in his property empire. Sources close to the situation reveal she managed to get her name on multiple property deeds, not just as an architect, but as a co-owner. Those design consultations she was doing, they were actually strategic planning sessions with real estate lawyers. The property documents she quietly signed will make Kanye's lawyers lose their minds. What's fascinating is how she used her professional credentials to justify her involvement in every real estate deal. While Kanye thought she was just handling the aesthetic aspects, She was actually structuring ownership details that would benefit her in the long run. Even the locations she chose for their homes and offices weren't random. Each property was strategically selected in states and countries with favorable divorce laws. The way she planned this, it's like she was playing chess while Kanye was playing checkers. The way Bianca handled Kanye's inner circle shows another level of strategic brilliance. Instead of alienating his team, she quietly built relationships with key players who could later verify her claims about his conduct. His security team, they've got footage of every controlling moment. His personal assistants, they documented every demanding request. Even his creative team has evidence of how he tried to control her image. And guess what? They're all willing to testify. The staff testimonies that just leaked will change everything you thought about their relationship. But here's what's really clever. She never badmouthed Kanye to any of them. Instead, she let his actions speak for themselves while building a network of potential witnesses. Those seemingly innocent conversations with staff members, they were all part of creating a record of his behavior. Even his business managers are privately admitting they saw red flags. The way she managed to turn potential adversaries into allies. It's giving masterclass in divorce strategy. The international business implications of this divorce are where things get really wild. While everyone was focused on their public appearances, Bianca was quietly securing her position in Kanye's global ventures. Those trips to Japan and Australia weren't just about fashion shows. Sources reveal she was meeting with international business lawyers, structuring deals that gave her significant control over his Asian and Pacific operations. The way she used her architectural background to justify these meetings, pure genius. The international business contracts she signed will make global headlines. What's fascinating is how she managed to insert herself into key positions within his international companies. Every new Yeezy location, every overseas venture, she made sure her role was more than just design-related. Those architectural contracts she signed, they included clauses about operational control and profit sharing. Even Kanye's international partners are impressed with how thoroughly she understood global business law. While he was focused on creative control, she was building a network of business relationships that would prove crucial during the divorce. Let's talk about how Bianca used the fashion industry to strengthen her legal position. Every controversial outfit, every semi-nude public appearance, it wasn't just Kanye's demands she was following. It was evidence she was collecting. Fashion industry insiders reveal she kept detailed records of every styling session. We're talking about voice recordings of Kanye's demands, photos of the original outfits before his changes, and witness statements from stylists who saw his controlling conduct firsthand. But here's what's brilliant. She turned these fashion moments into proof of coercive control. Those sheer dresses and revealing outfits. Each one came with documentation of how uncomfortable she was and how Kanye insisted on them anyway. Even major fashion houses are coming forward with evidence. Designers who were forced to alter outfits to Kanye's specifications against Bianca's wishes kept their own records. The pattern of control they're describing, it's becoming impossible to ignore. The way she transformed every fashion appearance into potential legal evidence shows just how far ahead she was thinking. While everyone was judging her outfits, she was building a case. The psychological aspect of Bianca's strategy reveals another layer of brilliance. While appearing to submit to Kanye's demands, she was actually working with mental health professionals to document the impact of his controlling behavior. Sources confirm she had therapists analyzing their public interactions, creating professional assessments of the power dynamics at play. Those moments where she looked distressed in public, they weren't just paparazzi shots, they were becoming part of a clinical evaluation. What's really fascinating is how she used his social media rants to her advantage. Every time Kanye went online claiming control over her choices, her team was adding it to a file documenting patterns of psychological manipulation. His own words became evidence against him. Even the way she handled his public outbursts was calculated. Instead of fighting back, she let each incident build her case. Mental health experts say her approach to documenting everything while maintaining a calm public persona shows remarkable strategic thinking. The support system she quietly built included not just lawyers, but also counselors and psychiatrists who could testify about the psychological impact of his conduct. While Kanye thought he was displaying his power, he was actually providing evidence of control. The financial paper trail Bianca created is where this whole situation gets really interesting. While Kanye was focused on his creative projects, she was methodically documenting every business transaction, every asset, and every potential source of wealth. Industry experts say she didn't just track the obvious assets, she dug deep into his entire business empire. Those late-night office visits weren't just about work. She was mapping out his complex network of companies, investments, and hidden assets. The financial documents she uncovered will make even billionaires nervous. What's brilliant is how she used her position within his companies to gain access to information that even Kim couldn't get during her divorce. As an architect and creative director, she had legitimate reasons to review financial documents that would normally be off-limits. She even managed to document how Kanye's erratic business decisions during certain periods affected company values. Those seemingly random company restructures, they're now evidence of questionable financial management during periods of instability. The way she tracked international assets was particularly clever. Every business trip, every overseas project, every foreign bank account, she created a detailed map of his global financial empire. And she did it all while appearing to simply support his creative vision. The final piece of this master plan shows just how thoroughly Bianca outplayed everyone. While the world was focused on her controversial outfits and public appearances, she was executing the most sophisticated divorce strategy Hollywood has ever seen. Sources close to her legal team reveal that everything, from her choice of residence to her public silence, was carefully planned. Even those moments where she seemed to be at her lowest were actually strengthening her legal position. What's fascinating is how she used Kanye's own patterns against him. Every public rant, every controlling demand, every business decision made during unstable periods, she documented it all. But instead of fighting back publicly, she let him think he was in control while building an ironclad case. The way she handled the media was particularly brilliant. While Kanye was making headlines with his outbursts, she maintained a strategic silence that would later support her claims of being under his control. Every paparazzi photo of her looking uncomfortable filed away as evidence. But here's what really shows her genius. She didn't just prepare for divorce. She prepared for the aftermath. The business structures she put in place, the international connections she made, the evidence she gathered, it's all designed to secure not just a settlement, but her future independence. The impact of her strategy is already changing how Hollywood looks at prenups and marriage contracts. Legal experts say her approach to documenting everything while maintaining a perfect public image has set a new standard for high-profile divorces. As this situation continues to unfold, one thing's becoming clear. While everyone was underestimating Bianca as just another one of Kanye's muses, she was actually orchestrating one of the most sophisticated legal strategies we've ever seen. The $200 million she's set to receive? That's not just a settlement, it's the price of underestimating a brilliant mind.